Member States and the European Parliament will work until the last minute to avoid a no deal. The European Union will not throw out any member state, and myself and Michel Barnier will do everything to avoid a disorderly Brexit. And I expect the leaders of the 27, the European Parliament and the United Kingdom to do the same. I am reading a speech in Parliament for the first time ever, because I believe that every single word is important.
Let's go to Brussels now and speak to our correspondent Dave Keating. Dave, tell us more then about Jean-Claude Juncker's latest comments on Brexit.
Well, you can tell just how sensitive this is because Juncker usually does speak kind of off the cuff when he speaks to the European Parliament, but this was a very prepared, very verbatim speech. Now, he reiterated that the UK has to approve something before that April 12th no-deal Brexit date. Otherwise, that no-deal Brexit date holds, and we are going forward into it. Now, a big part of his speech to MEPs was designed to reassure them that the EU is prepared for no-deal Brexit, or as prepared as it possibly can be, because there's a lot of nervousness in the chamber, as you would imagine. Now, Juncker is still speaking with MEPs in that debating chamber behind me. They are asking him questions, and in particular, they're giving him they need more reassurances. Now, Juncker, I would say, straddled the line. We've seen some people playing kind of good cop, some people playing bad cop. I would say French President Emmanuel Macron has sounded a very tough line. Michel Barnier yesterday, when speaking to MEPs here in the Parliament, was having a softer line. Juncker kind of straddled the middle. He said, you know, the UK needs to approve something. We cannot establish a long-term delay for no reason. But he also wanted to make clear that the EU is trying to do everything it can to avoid this kind of disastrous scenario. And that's really key. The EU does not want to be blamed for a no-deal Brexit if it happens next week. And that's why he had that line in the speech where he said the EU will never expel a member state. He wants to make sure it's not seen next week if Theresa May comes to that emergency summit on Wednesday with nothing to offer in terms of a guarantee that something can change or a vote in the Parliament, that if the EU decides, no, I'm sorry, the 12th of April is the deadline, they're not seen as essentially kicking the UK out of the EU. So it's a very sensitive time for Juncker when he's speaking here to the MEPs.
Dave, tell us more about how MEPs have been reacting. You said they were anxious because, of course, there's also the issue of European elections at the end of May.
Yeah, and that was a big part of their reactions. After Juncker gave his opening speech, we heard from people speaking on behalf of the political groups. And Elmar Brok, a very well-known politician here from the center-right European People's Party, sounded a really tough line. He said he does not think that the UK should participate in the European Parliament elections. He does not want British lawmakers in the Parliament. He does not want the UK to have a vote over a coming year or two-year period before they leave. And there he is very much echoing the sentiments of French President Emmanuel Macron, who is very skeptical of the idea that the UK would be in the EU, kind of throwing a wrench into what they would see as EU progress, and then leave. And so Elmar Brok suggested that there should have to be some caveats if the UK was to be given this long-term extension and then did have to run those European Parliament elections for legal reasons, that the UK would make some kind of guarantee, for instance, maybe not vote in certain issues or perhaps not vote at all. And that's also something we've heard from the Élysée. Then we heard from other politicians, though, other MEPs who were having a softer approach. We heard from the center-left SND group, who was really urging MEPs, look, I know everyone's frustrated about this, but let's try to find a way to accept a UK request for a long-term extension, because the alternative is just a nightmare. We heard the same thing from Guy Verhofstadt, who is in charge of the Brexit negotiations here in the European Parliament. He, again, was urging his colleagues in the Parliament to find some solution, to find a way for a long-term extension. At the same time, he said he knows there has to be some kind of change in the UK in order to give that long-term extension. But I think both the Liberals and the left were not coming down as hard on this idea that there would have to be additional caveats on the UK's continued participation in the EU. So we're seeing an interesting right-left split emerging in how lawmakers are viewing the potential way forward.
All right, thank you very much indeed for that update from Brussels. Dave Keating there.